Ever wondered where the concept of harnessing wind power came from? Well, let's travel back in time, nearly 5,000 years after the first sailing ships. The wind was first used to operate a mill in Persia. These were the first windmills, and they were quite different from what we visualize today. The blades were set on a vertical shaft, creating a horizontal windmill structure. Interesting, isn't it? Now, let's move towards Europe. Here, the windmills were of the vertical type, quite similar to those we're familiar with today. Intriguingly, it's been speculated that windmills may have been invented independently in both Persia and Europe. So regardless of where or how they originated, these ancient machines mark the beginning of our journey towards harnessing wind power. So from powering mills to generating electricity, windmills have come a long way. Ever got lost and wished you had a compass? Imagine the world before this small yet mighty device was invented. The first definitive mention of a magnetic compass takes us back to the year 1044 in China. Picture this, a soldier lost under a blanket of clouds, no stars in sight to guide his way. But he's got a secret weapon, a fish-shaped piece of magnetized iron floating in a bowl of water. This primitive compass, as we'd call it today, was his beacon, guiding him through the unknown. It was a simple yet ingenious solution to a problem as old as time itself: how to find your way when you're lost. This humble invention, born out of necessity, would go on to revolutionize navigation. From sailors braving the high seas to hikers exploring vast forests, the compass has guided countless adventurers safely to their destinations. The compass, a tiny device that revolutionized navigation. What if you could not keep track of time accurately? A daunting question, isn't it? This was a reality before the advent of the mechanical clock. Let's rewind to the late 13th century Europe. Hourglasses and water clocks had been in use for centuries, but they were not as precise. Enter the mechanical clock, a marvel of engineering that offered a significant improvement in timekeeping. These clocks, originally used in cathedrals, signaled the time for services. They were more than just timekeepers. They were symbols of progress, a testament to human ingenuity. The mechanical clock was a game changer, setting the stage for the precise timekeeping we enjoy today. From the classroom to the boardroom, from the kitchen to the train station, clocks govern our lives. It all started with the invention of the mechanical clock, a key player in the timeline of technology. Imagine life without clocks. Hard, isn't it? Ever wondered how books were made before the digital era? Well, it all began in the mid-15th century when a man named Johannes Gutenberg, a goldsmith by profession, revolutionized the world of literature with his invention, the printing press. Gutenberg did not just invent the press, he also invented movable type, an innovative system that allowed individual letters to be rearranged and reused. This was a game changer. Before this, books were hand-copied, a painstaking process that limited their availability. But Gutenberg's press made books, and thus knowledge, accessible to more people than ever before. This led to an unprecedented information explosion in Europe. Ideas once confined to a select few were now being spread far and wide. It was a revolution that forever transformed the way we share knowledge. From books to newspapers, the ripple effect of Gutenberg's invention is still felt today, even in our digital world. Gutenberg's press, a revolution that changed how we share knowledge. What drove the Industrial Revolution? Well, buckle up, because we're about to take a journey into the heart of the Industrial Revolution, where the steam engine reigned supreme. The story begins with James Watt, a name that's become synonymous with power, and for good reason. In 1765, Watt made a significant improvement to the Newcomen steam engine, a machine that had been in use for almost 50 years. Watt added a condenser, a device that turned steam back into liquid water. This condenser was separate from the cylinder that moved the piston, meaning the engine didn't have to cool down and heat up with each cycle. This simple yet ingenious modification made the engine much more efficient and fuel-effective, paving the way for it to become one of the most important inventions of the Industrial Revolution. Watt's steam engine was not only a powerhouse for industries, but also a catalyst for a transport revolution. Enter Richard Trevithick, an English engineer with a vision for the future of transportation. In 1804, Trevithick took Watt's steam engine, improved it, and put it to use for transport. He built the first railway locomotive at an ironworks in Wales. This marked the dawn of a new era in transport, an era of steam-powered railways. The impact of these inventions was monumental. The steam engine and the railways it powered revolutionized transportation and industry, propelling society into the modern industrial world we know today. They opened up new possibilities for trade, travel, and communication, forever changing the way people lived and worked. From powering industries to transforming transport, steam engines truly shaped our world. They are a testament to human ingenuity and a shining example of how technology can drive progress. As we continue our journey through the history of technology, let's remember the steam engine and the railways, the stalwarts of the Industrial Revolution that set the stage for the technological advancements that followed. Ever wondered how the first photograph was taken? Let's journey back to the early 1820s. A man named Nicéphore Niepce was intrigued by the possibility of using light-sensitive solutions to reproduce lithographs onto varying surfaces, such as glass, zinc, and eventually a pewter plate. But his curiosity didn't stop there. Niepce thought, why not use this solution to capture an image from a camera obscura? For those who might not know, a camera obscura is a darkened box with a small hole that can project an image of its surroundings onto a surface. So in 1826 or 1827, Niepce decided to put his idea to the test. He made an 8-hour-long exposure of the courtyard of his house using his light-sensitive solution. The result was nothing short of revolutionary, the world's first known photograph. Photography, a window into the past and a mirror of the present. How did people communicate over long distances before the internet? This question takes us back to a time when messages were sent through a series of dots and dashes, and voice communication was a far-off dream. In the mid-19th century, a successful painter named Samuel Morse became intrigued by the idea of an electric telegraph. His interest sparked an invention that would forever change the way humans communicate. Morse patented a prototype in 1837, but the telegraph's true moment of glory came 7 years later. Picture this. It's 1844, and a message is being sent over the first long-distance telegraph line, stretching all the way from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore. The message wasn't a casual hello or an inquiry about the weather. It was a profound statement, a declaration of the monumental shift that was about to take place in human communication. Morse's first message read, "What hath God wrought?" Just over 3 decades later, in 1876, the world of communication was about to be revolutionized once again. This time, it was Alexander Graham Bell at the helm of the invention. The telegraph had made it possible to send information through a wire in the form of dots and dashes. But Bell had a more audacious dream: voice communication. On March 10, 1876, Bell made the first telephone call. His words weren't as grandiose as Morse's, but they were just as historic. He said to his assistant Tom Watson, "Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you." From Morse's dots and dashes to Bell's voice transmission, the telegraph and telephone redefined communication. They collapsed geographical barriers and brought people closer together, setting the stage for the interconnected world we live in today. So, next time you pick up your phone or send a quick text, spare a thought for Morse and Bell. Their inventions were the stepping stones to the digital age. From dots and dashes to voice, telegraph, and telephone, redefined communication. Ever wondered how crops were harvested before modern machinery? Well, for thousands of years, it was a labor-intensive task, often requiring whole communities to come together. That all changed in 1831 with the invention of the mechanical reaper by Cyrus McCormick. This remarkable innovation was a major leap forward in the field of agriculture. McCormick's mechanical reaper was a horse-drawn machine that harvested wheat, effectively replacing manual labor. Despite some initial mechanical issues, the reaper was continuously improved and soon spread across the world, revolutionizing farming practices. McCormick's reaper allowed for quicker and more efficient harvesting, freeing up labor for other tasks and ultimately enabling larger-scale farming. This agricultural breakthrough was a key factor in the rapid expansion of farming across the American Midwest and the rise of the United States as a global grain producer. The mechanical reaper, a game changer in agriculture.